You know, now that Metroid Prime Remastered hit the Nintendo Switch, a game that I can hopefully get my hands on very soon, it makes me wonder not only if Metroid Prime 2 is coming, but equally Metroid Prime 3 as well. And how much of a boost is it gonna be, just like Metroid Prime 1 Remaster on the Nintendo Switch compared to, say, the GameCube? It really does make you wonder. Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to the RoboChan Show, where we take the gaming news format that channels like Spawnwood or Arlo do, add a dash of animation and some cool editing on top to bring you your gaming news, leaks, and rumors in a fresh new way. If you're new here and want to be kept up on everything gaming, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you enjoy the video and dislike if not, and have that notification bell on so you know when I upload. In this video, we are going to go over some interesting passwords from Nintendo insider Jeff Grubb. These words had to do with the Metroid brand when it comes to Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 hitting the Nintendo Switch, and I think it's really interesting now that the Metroid Prime 1 Remaster has come true, and how this could play into Nintendo's plans when it comes to Metroid Prime 2 and 3 hitting the Nintendo Switch, as well as Metroid Prime 4's reveal. We covered a little bit about this in the last video, and we're gonna go more in depth on that in this video. So yesterday we talked about if Nintendo is gearing up for a Metroid Prime reveal. If you guys have noticed, ever since Metroid Dread was released and sold extremely well, the best in the franchise when it comes to Metroid and Metroid Prime games in overall sales, Nintendo has been dropping Metroid games and Metroid Prime games on the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Online service. And I don't think it's just because they want to drop these games on these consoles. I think there's a specific reason why they're doing this. It's my belief that Nintendo's goal is to grow the install base of the series as much as they can leading up to Metroid Prime 4, and that is one of the reasons why we have games like Metroid Fusion coming out on March 9th. And of course Metroid Prime Remaster is on the Nintendo Switch as well, and we have had other past Metroid games from the Nintendo Switch Online service as well. These games were revealed during that February Nintendo Direct, if you remember, when Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games were announced on the Nintendo Switch. In my eyes, these are all marketing points, a wave of momentum that increases the excitement surrounding the Metroid Prime and Metroid brand leading up to our launch of Metroid Prime 4. But Nintendo can only go so far with these games though. There's still two other big Metroid Prime games that are left, those being Metroid Prime 1, or not Metroid Prime 1, Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Now, if you guys recall, before we even knew if this Metroid Prime Remaster was real, Nintendo insider Jeff Grubb had some interesting words not only for Metroid Prime 1, but Metroid Prime 2 and 3 as well, and this is what he said. I could say that I've been told pretty definitively that Metroid Prime Remaster is going to be one of their big holiday games. In the past, this is something that I've heard is in the works. They've had things happening with that game. Now I've been told their plans are to release this game this holiday, I think almost certainly to line up with the 20th anniversary in November, so that's happening and they need to tell us when the release date is. They're also pretty much done it sounds like, but Nintendo being Nintendo is gonna hold on to them and will likely drop them later along the road. However, Nintendo decides what order to release their games. They are gonna do that, but they're not gonna do it separately it sounds like. Now it does sound like Jeff Grubb, when saying this, he was a little bit iffy on even calling it a holiday game. It almost makes it sound like it could have changed, which we know it did change, so that could have been the case here. Anyways, continuing. And Metroid Prime 1, my understanding that it's getting a big remaster treatment, and then Metroid Prime 2 and Metroid Prime 3 are sort of getting, they'll probably get like updated controls and things like that, but they're not getting quite the same overhaul that Metroid Prime 1 is getting. Now, like I said, one part of it did come true, but the other part didn't. We didn't get it during holiday season, even though in the end we did get Metroid Prime Remaster, which I'm really hyped about and really excited to get my hands on it eventually. There were just so many games coming out. I just received Octopath Travelers 2 in the mail. Now, as we know, Nintendo's plans often change. Things come up, things come later, things come sometimes sooner than we think. I mean, let's be honest, did we ever think that Pikmin 4 was gonna be a thing? But overall, the description fits what we got. Now, Jeff Grubb also says later on we can get the other two, and here is the somewhat disappointing part about that. It sounds like it's not gonna be nearly as good as the Metroid Prime Remaster. From his words, it sounds like it's more along the lines of Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Sunshine during that 3-pack we got during the Mario 35th anniversary. While they have improvements, yes, it's not the biggest improvements and definitely not the best that I think they can do. Now, with that being said, if Nintendo Nintendo does intend to put these on the Nintendo Switch, the other two Metroid Prime games, why would they do them separately like Jeff Grubb says they're planning to do? Well, I think it's a lead up to Metroid Prime 4's reveal. While I don't think it's gonna be a big reveal, I think it's gonna be a start, the small tease that we get. I talked about this a bit in yesterday's video, at the time of this recording anyways, but essentially I think it's gonna be a tease, kinda like the first trailer we got for Tears of the Kingdom. Then as we're seeing with Tears of the Kingdom, each new Nintendo Direct that we get in the back half of 2023 and 2024 will give us new trailers and new gameplay. I think the release date for Metroid Prime 4 is somewhere between March and June of 2024, or the other way around actually, it's March to June of 2024. This gives enough time for other Nintendo Directs to have more trailers and more gameplay and build more hype, as well as releasing other games. I think all of these Metroid and Metroid Prime games are lead-ups to the first trailer for Metroid Prime 4, and I think all of these Metroid and Metroid Prime games are lead-ups to that first trailer. Now what does this have to do with Metroid Prime 2 and 3? Well, I think in between those, we're gonna get those games separately. Nintendo releasing these games, plus the trailers, plus small surprises, would give us a healthy, long line of marketing for the Metroid and Metroid Prime brand until the release date for Metroid Prime 4 in 2024. Now, as to when we can see that full gameplay reveal, as we know, Nintendo does like to do these Nintendo Directs for their bigger games. Now, this is gonna be really early speculation, not based on anything other than just my own ideas. But when can we see these games drop? Because I think that's something that a lot of people are wondering, if these games are coming and when could they drop. Now, I think Metroid Prime 2, that could probably drop sometime in August and September, because I do think we're going to be getting a trailer for Metroid Prime 4 during a June Nintendo Direct. I still think, even though Nintendo's not going to E3, I think we're still going to get a June Nintendo Direct, because Nintendo hasn't really set up much in 2023, at least in the back half, I should say. So I think in August or September for Metroid Prime 2, and as for Metroid Prime 3 Remaster, that's a tough one, because it's going to be way further in. Assuming Nintendo does release Metroid Prime 4 sometime in the back half of 2023, March or June, or maybe even holiday of 2024, who knows, it would have to be right before Metroid Prime 4. So maybe, say, 4 months to 5 months before Metroid Prime 4, so maybe sometime, again, just like Metroid Prime Remaster, sometime in February maybe. Now, as for the full gameplay reveal for Metroid Prime 4, I didn't even talk about this in the last video. I don't know why I didn't. Nintendo typically likes to have these huge Nintendo Directs that are like 30 to 45 minutes long on their bigger games that show a whole bunch of gameplay. Now, this highly depends on The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and here's why. Once we see how Nintendo is marketing this bigger game, we can have a better idea of what they're going to be doing with the next game. Because if you notice, Nintendo likes to repeat their marketing process across the board for most of their bigger games. Typically how it goes is either we'll just get a title card, or we'll get a CGI cutscene. And usually it's in-game. So we saw this with Splatoon 3, we saw this with the Super Smash Bros. Game. Remember, we got that really cool reveal with the logo and the Smash Bros. Eye. That was probably the best reveal I've ever had at a Nintendo Direct that got me really excited. Personally anyways. But then we get a couple trailers here and there, and sometimes we do get remakes, remasters, and so on to lead up to the games. That is typically how Nintendo likes to market their bigger games. So assuming that Nintendo still does the same thing, I think we can expect the same thing for Metroid Prime. So maybe 1 to 2 months before the release date, so maybe in February or maybe in March, we'll get that gameplay reveal. Assuming that's when they're going to release this game. Again, this is all speculation. I could be completely wrong, but usually, typically, this is how Nintendo likes to do things. But yeah, I think those remasters are coming, and if Jeff Grubb's words were true and not false, and Nintendo did kind of change their plans, instead of holiday, they released it in 2023 for the Metroid Prime 1 remaster, then I think the remasters are going to come, and maybe they're not going to be as good as the first remaster, which is kind of unfortunate. Honestly, I'd wait longer for those games if they were to spend more time on it and make it better. But I think those are going to drop throughout the year, and then the new trailers for Metroid Prime 4 will also drop with them, and essentially using these remasters as momentum to keep that excitement around the brand and grow it to an all-time high. But what do you guys think? Do you think the other two games are coming, and would you be disappointed if they received smaller updates than Metroid Prime 1 Remastered? Let's talk about it in the comment section below, and I will feature your comments in the next video, so make sure you drop those and I can reply to them and we can have a discussion on those things. Thanks for watching. And if not, on your way out, make sure you subscribe for more videos and also have that notification bell on. And if you want to support the channel in any other way, there is my Patreon and Twitter account in the pinned comment if you're interested in those. Oh, and also have this donut if you're still sticking around for me rambling. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.